kids lost their lives right here in the city of Fort Worth to gun violence. That's 5 classrooms worth of students. And so we made a historic investment to say enough is enough and to make sure that our kids can grow up to live, to achieve their boldest aspirations. And that's what happens when we elect good people to represent all of our values and ensure that we have representation in every hall of government in this country. Are y'all with me? And so here's what we need to do. We need to stay fired up. Ready to go. Fired up. Ready to vote. Fired up. Ready to win. Okay. Listen, there are still some more people outside, so we don't want to get this show started until they get in here, because they need to hear the exciting things that are happening right here in Tarrant County. Tarrant County is going to be one of the 254 counties that votes to elect Congressman Colin Allred as our next United States Senator from the great state of Texas, huh? And so we got a great program for y'all today. We'll get started in 5 minutes. But before I go back to the back, I want us to get hyped one last time. Is that okay? I've always wanted to be a hype man anyway, so. Fired up? Ready to go. Fired up. Ready to vote. Fired up. Ready to win. We'll be back. Let's win this election. And we're back! Listen, we have an amazing group that is about to grace the stage for our national anthem. They are a great group, young guys that are up and coming here in Tarrant County. They are 2BYG. Would you join me in giving them a Texan welcome as they lead us in our national anthem?
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we held at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the and the home of the
All righty, join me in welcoming Miss Juneteenth, Miss Ariana Beasley. She will be leading us in our Texas Pledge.
place your right hand over your heart, I will be saying the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And now for the Texas. Honor the Texas flag. Pledge allegiance to the Texas, one state under God and indivisible. Thank you.
Alrighty, y'all, this race is so close, and I know some of y'all are seeing the polls. How excited are we, huh? Well, we got somebody to come up here who's going to help tell you about ways that you can get involved to make sure that we finish this in the last 30 days. So join me in giving a big welcome to my friend Alejandro.
What a warm crowd here, everyone. What a beautiful crowd. Hello, my name is Alejandro Arango, and I'm the Regional Organizing Director for the DFW area. And let me tell you, it is exciting. It is exciting what we've been seeing at the doors and what we've been hearing on the phones. Let me tell you, I don't know if y'all saw the recent poll, but Congressman Allred is ahead of Ted Cruz by 1 point. Huh? Now, I don't know if y'all know this, but that means that we're in what the congressman likes to call a margin of effort. Right? That means the effort that we put in is what we get out. That means every door that we knock on is going to make a difference in this election. Every single person we talk to, we know is going to vote. Now, they just have to hear why they have to vote for Congressman Allred, why they have to vote for Democrats up and down the ballot, from the White House to the State House. And that starts with you all. Now, who here is going to vote for Ted Cruz? All right. So who here is going to vote for Congressman Allred? Fantastic. Now all we need is for you all to bring that energy, bring that story to every single door that you can knock on, to every single phone call that you can make, right? Folks are going to vote, so now it's just a question of us sharing our personal story and telling them why they should be voting in what is a crucial election. And it's not only just important for Congressman Allred, but it's for our fantastic candidates who are doing the work. Tomorrow we have a block walk with John Love, and I cannot think of a better crowd to help fill that space than this one. So if you're fired up, not just for Congressman Allred, but for every single Democrat up and down the ballot, I want to hear you make some noise. Are you fired up? Are you going to join us at our phone banks and our block walks and our house parties? All right, everyone. So if you want to hear more, and if you want to tell your friends just how important this race is, I tell you to go to txoffense.com. There has been no moment more important than this. There is no person better to tell the story of this race than you. So I hope you'll join us. Congressman Allred always likes to say, we is more powerful than me. And when we fight, we win. When we fight, we win. Thank you very much. I'll see you at the next block walk and phone bank, everyone.
Well, wasn't that great, huh? I have the privilege of being able to introduce someone that's no stranger to District 9 Fort Worth, my colleague. I am proud to call her friend, and it's so incredible to share in this work together. Will you join me in welcoming Councilwoman Elizabeth Beck? Woo!
Hey, Fort Worth. Hey. All right. That was like an okay hey. Let me hear. Hey, Fort Worth. Hey. Who's ready to get Colin Allred elected to Senate? That sounded like you might be wanting to get Colin Allred elected to Senate. Who wants to get Colin Allred elected to the Senate? That's right. You know, I grew up here in Fort Worth, and Fort Worth is home to me. And Tarrant County is so important. We have gone blue before, and we will go blue again. And we will do that because of you standing in this room right now. So give yourself a round of applause. Let me hear it. Because you're doing the work. It is so important that we elect people like Colin Allred. Many of you know my story as a veteran, and we need champions in the Senate, not Ted Cruz, fighting for what veterans need after they come home and deal with the perils of war. And that, thank you. And that is Colin Allred. Colin brought the historic VA to Garland. Huge, huge investment for our community. It means that veterans get the vital care that they need closer to home. And we need people that make sure that they keep their promise and take care of veterans when they come home. And that person, without a doubt, is who? It's who? It's who? That's right. It's why we need you to make sure you're doing everything you can to send Colin to the Senate. We need him to fight for things like our VA. We need him to fight for the historic PACT Act that protected veterans that came home with experience in burn pits like myself. We need those champions in the Senate. Ted Cruz fought against the historic PACT Act to take care of our veterans. Is that who we want in the Senate? No. So we need you to not just show up here today, not just show up for the block walk tomorrow, but show up for the block walk next week. Show up for the one after that, and every day until Election Day, so that we can make sure that we send our champion, Colin Allred, to the United States Senate. Woo! So today, when you leave, make a plan. Make a plan to vote, make a plan to talk to your friends about voting, and make a plan to walk for Colin. If you haven't already donated, donate to Colin. If you've donated once, maybe donate a little more. These campaigns take a lot of effort to send the message to the voters to let them know how important it is to send Colin to the Senate. So one more time, who are we going to send to the United States Senate? That's right. Let's go get him, Fort Worth.
We're going to keep this show rolling, but before we do it, fired up, ready to go. Fired up, ready to vote. Fired up, ready to win. Listen, I have an amazing gentleman about to come on the stage. He's my friend, he's my brother, and he's your state representative. He is none other than Ramon Romero from District 90. Y'all know him and y'all love him. Make some noise. Woo! 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 Let's go!
Jared said I don't even have to introduce myself. He said everybody knows who you are out there, Ramon, so just go out there and talk to your family. Huh? Won't y'all hug family around you and say, I love you, family? You're looking at the family that's going to get the job done. You're looking at the family that when the time comes, they're not going to go run and hide. Y'all know who goes to run and hide, right? Oh, yeah, we all know who likes to go run and hide. Look, Ted Cruz, that's right. We don't even want to say his damn name. Keep your mouth shut. No, listen. You know, there's a lot of people that when they run for office, you know, they're going to tell you what they want to do. They're going to tell you what they're going to do. And there's other people that when they run for office, they ask you what you need. They ask you, what do you care about? What are you concerned about? That's who we have in Colin Allred, somebody who's here to listen and someone that wants to know what's important to you. And we know that Ted Cruz spent 12 years in D.C. Yeah, boo his ass. Y'all pretend I'm Ted Cruz for a second. Hold on. That's as best as I can do it, running to go hide. No, but you know, he spent 12 years saying that he wants to raise the age for retirement. He spent 12 years saying that, you know, maybe you're not ready to retire. He's probably already got his retirement set up from the U.S. Senate. He has nothing to worry about, but we do. And he cares about the things that matter to our families. And I think that all of us as Democrats here that are ready for change are ready to support those issues and fight like Colin Allred has to protect the promise that we've made all Americans to protect Social Security and Medicare. And by golly, I'm telling you, when somebody comes after your family and your parents and says, I'm sorry, I'm not going to keep that promise, what are you going to do? Vote! You know, we don't need somebody who's going to abandon us. And we already know. I mean, I like Cancun too. I just don't do it in the middle of my job. And we don't need someone like that. You know, you'll hear from Colin later, but I love it. One of the first times I heard him talk. And he says, you know, they don't need me, but shit them. But on January 6th, they're looking for the big black guy and go tell him to go up there and hold that door. That's not cool. I don't need friends like that. I don't need friends like that are going to go run and hide in a broom closet. I need friends like Colin Allred. Who needs a friend like Colin Allred? Look, we know he's going to stand up. We know he's going to protect our rights. And absolutely, he needs to protect our promises. So when you're out there knocking on doors and you're doing what you need to do, remember, you're not just getting votes. You're protecting an American promise that's been overlooked because of where all the money's coming from. So when y'all are out there, and I tell folks, anybody ever work in a restaurant? And there's an old saying that says, if you've got time to lean, you've got time to clean. That's right. And a lot of people think that in elections, that means you're going to knock on as many doors as possible and you're going to just keep on moving. That's not what we're going to do. We're going to knock on that door and we're going to find something to lean on. Because we're going to get to know those people. And we're going to ask them if they know who their state U.S. senator is, and we're going to remind them that this guy's out to kill a promise made to Americans, and we're not going to let that happen. So who are we taking to D.C.? Who do we believe in because he's going to protect our promises? And we're going to believe in each other. We're going to believe in our family. Thank y'all. Ramon Romero, State Rep. God bless you all.
Oh, man. How excited are we? Where's the energy? I get to introduce so many of my great friends today, including none other than our state representative, Nicole Collier. She is a fierce advocate for justice down in the state capitol, and she is always there for us. Mic check, 1, 2, 1, 2. Mic check, 1, 2. All right, now y'all can hear me. We are going to introduce State Rep Nicole Collier here in a second. I see that there is a lot of folks standing in the back, and you may not be comfortable back there. We have an overflow room in the back, and we're on the big screen. And so if you are not feeling comfortable back in the back, know that we have an overflow room with TVs that are live streaming this right now. You can make your way and don't feel like you are disrupting anything. Folks, let them through if they want to come through. Awesome. So we are going to introduce my friend. She is a fierce advocate down in the Capitol. She's someone who we can count on every single day to represent our values and to make sure that our voices are heard down in Austin. So will you join me in welcoming a dear friend of mine, State Representative Nicole Collier.
Tarrant County, are you fired up? Are you fired up? I can hold this. Are you ready? Let me tell you something, Tarrant County. I came by here to tell you why I am voting for Colin Allred. Now, are you tired of being ignored? Are you tired of being mistreated? Are you tired of being denied? Are you ready for a change? And are you ready for progress? Are you ready for Colin Allred? That's right. Friends, let me tell you, we need a leader who is going to vote and support affordable drug prices. You know who voted to cap insulin at $35? Ted Cruz didn't, but Colin Allred did. Colin Allred trusts women. He trusts us to make the decisions about our own bodies. And that's some of the reasons why I'm voting for Colin Allred. But you know what, friends? All
this nation is depending on us to deliver. Our future depends on this election. My children and your children are depending on you to show up for this election. Now, since all eyes are on us, Tarrant County, are we going to deliver? Are you going to vote for a candidate who supports health care for all of us? Are you going to vote for a candidate who supports our small businesses? And are you going to vote for a candidate who will listen to your needs and a vote in accordance with your needs? Are you going to vote for Colin Allred? Now, can America depend on you? Can America depend on you? Can Colin depend on you? Let's get it done.
Oh, y'all want to do it again, huh? Fired up, ready to go. Fired up, ready to vote. Fired up, ready to win. So I really like parties, and ain't no party without some good entertainment. And so we are at our halftime point in this program, and we have none other than Mr. Levi Ray, who's going to come and play 2 songs for us. So we all give them a big Texas round of applause and shouts as they get us fired up.
Hey, all right. Try to stay fired up, but I'm going to sing about empathy. Been battling with my demons more than usual lately. Good times are harder to come by. Dark moving closer, ever closer. Not a thing to think away, not a promise not to break. Being a good man here's no help. Might not be there, if there. But I heard the other day that you've been battling too. I want you to know I know your battle, 'cause I've been battling too. Yeah, I've been battling too. But it's just not enough to give it. I believe in you and I love you. You are more than the highest light in the me. I know a little, try to know more. Can only ever be less dumb, but I feel as deep as a hurt I can't explain. To give up is much too small, simply not enough. The world is great and big and hard, and we feel it all too much. But it's just not enough to give it. I believe in you and I love you. You are more than the highest light in the me. 'Cause I heard the other day that you've been battling too. Want you to know I know your battle, 'cause I've been battling too. Yeah, I've been battling too. Yeah, I've been battling too. Thank you. All right. Doing 2 songs is kind of cool, short and sweet. Much easier than, here, play for 3 hours. Past few months, mostly paying bills on time. Been cooking more and more, eating better. Not sure about all the rest of my days. Worried they might be long gone and away. Miss my friends and my family and the way things used to be. Working at a middle way, for my habits got in the way. What's gonna stop me now? What's gonna stop me now? Progress is too slow for those that want it most. Don't want too long for anything. Just move along with you by my side and leave all the rest behind. Forgetting our past is not too introspective and alone in my thoughts. This is a song about the gray inside of me. I remember your silly walk and your sweet laugh, lying on a couch in our house. Dogs asleep everywhere and too much to dream. Late nights I hear the wind blow, trees rustling down, shaking this house. Can't tell if I wanna be lifted up and knocked down. Guess I close my eyes, dream of better days. Working at a middle way, for my habits got in the way. What's gonna stop me now? What's gonna stop me now? What's gonna stop me now? What's gonna stop us now? Thank y'all so much. Y'all know what to do. Vote, vote, vote. Vote for Colin Allred. Thank you.
Give it up one more time. Alrighty, our next speaker for the evening is going to be none other than my friend Salman Bojani. Listen, come on, it's okay to cheer, yeah. This is a rally after all. He is no stranger to us either here in Tarrant County. He embraces diversity and values culture and brings so much to the Texas State Capitol. He is always fighting for a Texas that welcomes all of us and that works for all of us. And here in Tarrant County, we are proud to be home of the first South Asian ever elected to the Texas State House. And that is none other than my friend, my brother. Y'all give it up for State Representative Salman Bojani.
Good afternoon, everybody. So amazing to have so much energy in this room. I feel like if we can keep this up, we're going to turn Tarrant County blue and the state of Texas blue as well. So as Councilman said, my name is Salman Bojani. I'm really honored to represent East Tarrant County at the Texas Capitol. And it's an honor to be here with you all today to launch this important effort to support Congressman Colin Allred. You know, I resonate a lot with Congressman Allred. He was raised by a single mother and a family of educators who put a lot of good ethics and values in him. And you can see that, right, in his daily demeanor. I was raised in 3 different continents where I had family from Pakistan, London, Canada, and America. And my parents, when I got here in America as well, they put the same good values, good ethics in me. But they went through a financial crisis in the 2002, 2003 time. And that made me step up to the table And I worked at gas stations, mopping floors, cleaning restrooms, and stocking shelves for just $6 an hour. My humble parents instilled in me the ethics to give back to the community. They said, as soon as you're up on your feet, guess what you have to do? Give back, right? And that's exactly what I did. Thank you. Colin Allred has big dreams, or had big dreams as he was, being raised. Playing in the NFL, how many people can achieve that? Going to law school, being elected to the US Congress. It's no joke, right? And Colin actually worked his butt off and achieved all those things. Just remarkable achievement. I had a dream to be a successful business owner, an attorney, and to be elected to the city of Euless in my city. And because of our shared value of hard work, determination, and never giving up, I was really blessed to achieve all of them myself. And after getting elected to US Congress, Colin Allred has been one of the most bipartisan members of the Congress from Texas and has fought for great jobs, protecting our Medicare, and protecting access to healthcare. And that's exactly what he'll do as a senator as well. And that's exactly what I've done at the Texas House of Representatives. As a Democratic freshman, get this, in a Republican-controlled state house, I filed 25 bills in my freshman session. But that's not a big deal, actually. People file a lot of bills. I passed 10 bills at a Republican-controlled house. And it's been an honor of my lifetime to represent East Tarrant County here. Another thing Colin Allred has worked on is interfaith work. At a time where the world is seeing so many conflicts, war, and religious intolerance, I was blessed to host an interfaith dinner, iftar dinner, where Congressman Allred attended, spoke, and sponsored. At that event, we broke bread with 200 elected officials, members of 8 different faith communities. And we spoke about how the conflict all over the world should not affect our relationships here in Texas or in North Texas. We need to have more compassionate towards each other. And we also said that we have so much more in common. Like God, tells us, love thy neighbor. And that verse is repeated in every single religious scripture all around the world. And so we were blessed to do that. I was also blessed to bring the first Jewish Torah at the Texas Capitol. I was also, as the first Muslim elected, that's a pretty big deal, right, to bring that. And that's what we need to do, right? We need to set examples of helping our neighbors even though we don't see eye to eye with them. I was also able to bring the first Hindu Bhagavad Gita to the Capitol. And then, obviously, the first Quran, Muslim Quran at the Texas Capitol as well. And lastly, 2 years ago, I was blessed to make history right here in Texas when I ran for the Texas House of Representatives and won and made history by being the first Muslim and the first South Asian ever elected in the history of the state of Texas. Thank you. And it happened because of some of you that are here, right here, that have supported me throughout my journey. And then, here is the main kicker. When we elect Congressman Allred to the US Senate, he will make history as the first black senator in the entire history of the state of Texas. That is huge. So I have a question for you. So who is ready to fire Ted Cruz and send Colin Allred to the US Senate? I'm right there with you. I've got another question. Who's ready to make history by electing Kamala Harris as our first female president in the history of our state? And then let's bring it home right here. Who's ready to turn Tarrant County blue? Well, I'm right here with you, and I'm ready to fire Ted Cruz so he can finally go to Cancun, not just during a winter storm, but for his entire life. Let's get to work, folks, and elect Congressman Colin Allred as our next U.S. Senator from Texas. Thank you so much.
Fired up, ready to go. Fired up, ready to vote. Fired up, ready to win. Awesome. Our next speaker is an amazing leader in the Texas House, also in the Democratic Party. He is a fierce champion for public education and also for all of our communities. Please join me in welcoming Representative Chris Turner.
Hello out there. How y'all doing? Wow, what a crowd. I can't even see the back of it. Thank y'all all so much for coming out today to support Colin Allred for the United States Senate. Are y'all ready? Are y'all ready to go vote? In 2 weeks, 2 weeks from Monday, early voting starts. Are y'all ready? Are you ready? Are you ready to fire Ted Cruz? Are you ready to elect a U.S. Senator who works for us and not against us in Washington, D.C.? I am too, and that's why we're here today. You know, I've had the privilege of representing Tarrant County in the Texas House for 7 terms now. And I've lived here, my wife Lisa and I have lived here together for more than 25 years. And so I think I know a little bit about what the people of Tarrant County want to see in their elected officials. They want to see people who are willing to work hard, people that care more about getting the job done than who gets the credit. They want elected officials who are going to deliver real results for our families, not just empty rhetoric. And that's what Colin Allred is bringing to this campaign. And that's why we're here today is so very important, because Tarrant County is truly the biggest battleground in the state of Texas. We are the 3rd biggest county in Texas. And in terms of big counties, we're really the only battleground county. And we know that Tarrant County has been trending purple because we are growing. We are becoming more diverse. We are becoming younger. And as all that's happening, politicians like Ted Cruz keep moving further and further off to the fringe, off to the extreme end of the political spectrum. And people in Tarrant County don't like that. That's not who they are. That's not who we are. So that's why we're here today is so very important. This is going to be a close race. And so every vote is going to count. And if we win Tarrant County, and I believe we will, and Colin Allred carries Tarrant County, I believe we will have elected him the next U.S. Senator from the state of Texas. And it can't happen too soon. I mean, I don't have to tell y'all, but let me just remind you a couple of the lowlights from the last 12 years where Ted Cruz has been our U.S. Senator. Remember when he tried to kill the Affordable Care Act? You remember when he tried to cut Social Security and Medicare for our seniors? Do you remember when, in the midst of that horrific winter storm that we all suffered through for days without power, Colin Allred was here on the ground helping his fellow Texans? Ted Cruz was getting on a plane and flying to Cancun. And of course, Ted Cruz tried to overturn a free and fair election and helped incite an insurrection and then hid in a broom closet when it happened. So we've had enough of Ted Cruz. Colin Allred represents a new kind of leadership. He will fight for our freedoms. He will fight to restore a woman's right to make decisions about her own body and her own health care. He'll fight to protect Social Security and Medicare. He'll fight to defend and protect and expand our veterans' benefits, to honor those who have served. And what's more, Colin knows how to win a tough election. He's done it before. He ran for Congress 6 years ago in a race that no one thought he could win because he was running against an entrenched Republican incumbent. And guess what? It wasn't even close. Colin Allred won that race, just like he's going to win this race 1 month from today. But we cannot take anything for granted. We have the momentum right now. The polls show that. The fundraising numbers show that. The momentum is on our side. But we can't take a single thing for granted. So for the next 1 month, we have got to do everything we can to talk to our neighbors, talk to our friends, our family members, our coworkers, and get people out to vote. The voter registration deadline is Monday. If anyone you know is not registered, get them to register before Monday. And 2 weeks from Monday, early voting starts. We need everyone to make a plan to vote early in this election. And when we turn out in the numbers that I know we are capable of, there is no stopping us, and we are going to elect Colin Allred, our next U.S. Senator. God bless you. Thank you. Let's go win.
All right, so I believe that in Tarrant County, we are going to win for Colin Allred. And Tarrant County is absolutely critical for this election. And I have the honor of introducing someone who's no stranger here in the county. He is someone who cares way more about democracy and protecting our democracy than Ted Cruz. But he also values Texas and ensuring that Texas elected officials work for all of us. And so would you please join me in welcoming former Tarrant County Judge, Judge Glenn Whitley.
I know, I got to get back to the mic. I've always been told I had a loud mouth, but I will get behind the mic. I have to tell you just a couple of things. When we drove here today, when Brenda and I drove here today, and we turned left into the parking lot, the security guard said, are you sure you didn't make the wrong left turn? And I assured him that I knew and that we knew exactly what we were doing today when we came here. Now, I also told Jared that I felt like that I should have cumulatively as much time as all the Democrats who have spoke before me. And he assured me that that was not the case and that they could cut off the mic after about 5 minutes. But seriously, let me tell you how proud I am today to be here. This is the second time in my lifetime that I have endorsed and supported a Democratic candidate. Now, please hear, endorsed and supported. That doesn't mean I haven't voted for Democrats, because I vote for the person who I feel like is best for the job and not what party they're from. But some folks who I have talked with and told that I was going to do this have said, well, why now? And I said, because I think it is a very critical time in our country. There are two very different choices for this Senate seat. One has a total lack of character, and that's Ted Cruz. How can you know, my wife Brenda and her have always had each other's back when we were out in the public or when we were doing anything. I never had to worry about whether she was going to support what I was saying. And so I find it extremely difficult to understand how Ted Cruz could support Trump after he was so disrespectful to not just his father, but to his wife. And you've already heard many times today about the fact that when all of us were here freezing and trying to figure out how we were going to get through the freeze, Ted took his family and they headed for Cancun. But I think that one of the things that, to me, is the straw that broke the camel's back was when he sided with Trump on January the 6th to try to delay the certification. As I said, this is a critical time in our country. And I think Colin Allred shows great character. The first time I had an opportunity to meet him was when he flew down here with the president as well as with Jake Elsey in an effort to enhance and to pass legislation for our militaries, active duty, and veterans who had suffered from the burn pits of the Mideast wars. And they got that accomplished. The next thing, Colin has always been very bipartisan. He has always reached across the aisle, and you can look no further than the immigration bill that he worked on to secure the borders. He wasn't going to get everything that he wanted, but it was a beginning, and in his mind, securing those borders was the first step toward doing that. And what happened? It was taken down by folks like Ted Cruz. If you look back in history, and I'm a historian, I love to look back and read history, George Washington in his farewell address expressed extreme distrust in political parties. He said it was the biggest threat to our country that existed at that time and would exist into the future. And again, as I said earlier, we are at that crossroads now. We've got Cruz, who basically is looking for what he can do for the party or for himself, as opposed to Allred, who is always working for the people he represents. I am proud to be a Texan and an American, and I want to support someone who I know is going to work for the people. So that's why Brenda and I are proud to support and vote for who? Colin Allred. Thank you all very much. Yeah, I know he's coming out to get me, but talk to your friends. Chris just mentioned it. Monday is the last day you can register to vote. Call your friends. Don't just encourage them. Take them to the polls to vote. Thank y'all.
Now, Judge, I don't have a disrespectful bone in my body. My dad is here. He is a pastor here in the community. But you had 2 more minutes, and I was going to come up here and yank that mic. With all due respect, sir. All right, well, listen. There's folks out there like Ted Cruz who want to take us backwards. Yeah, that was great. So these next 30 days are going to be critical, and it's going to be tough, and we need y'all to do something. And when you get tired, knock some more. When you get discouraged, knock some more. When you can't see victory at the end of the tunnel, you knock some more. When Cruz says he's up on the TV, and we know how much he lies, we knock some more. Because it's just that important. Yeah? Sounds like y'all are with me. Listen, I have the privilege of introducing somebody who knows how to keep on going. She is a true trailblazer. She is a true trailblazer. And she has stood for us in the Senate halls down in Austin. And when she got tired, she kept on standing. When they said that she couldn't do it, she kept on standing. When they said that there was no light at the end of the tunnel, she kept on standing. And that's what we're all here to do. So if you would join me in welcoming someone that is no stranger to the great state of Texas, former state senator Wendy Davis.
Hey, everybody. Hello, Fort Worth. Hello, Tarrant County. It is so good to be with y'all. I'm feeling emotional right now to be home in Fort Worth and my community that elected me to serve on the Fort Worth City Council for 9 years. I love you too. And in the Texas Senate for 6 years. And my history, my family's history in this community goes so far back. We're literally just a few blocks away from the dinner theater, Stage West, that my father founded here more than 40 years ago, and it's still going strong. And I'm so happy to be here in this venue. We are supported today by Jason Suter, who owns this place, and I've known Jason since he was about that tall. But I'm especially proud to be here today as a supporter of Colin Allred, because I love me some Colin Allred. How about y'all? Now here's the thing. You guys did something remarkable. You gave me the honor and privilege of serving you in the Texas Senate in a moment when women across this state needed a voice. It's because of you that I had the privilege of standing for 13 hours and fighting for reproductive freedoms in this state. And you know, the remarkable thing about that day was it was a day when we all believed in our own power. People showed up at the Texas Capitol by the thousands, people who got up eating their breakfast that morning, who had no idea they were going to be in the Texas Capitol later that day, got inspired and made their way. And it was the first time and only time in the history of the Texas Capitol that it filled to capacity. And still people came. They were on every level of the rotunda, every hallway, and spilling out on the Capitol lawn. And we did something remarkable because we believed in that power, because we believed in the idea that if we show up, we can make change. And we showed up in that day. We showed up for each other. We showed up for people that we will never know. We showed up because we understood how important it is to fight for those values that make us who we are. And we're in that fight again, my friends. Boy, are we in it. I've been working for the last year and a half as senior advisor to Planned Parenthood Texas Votes. We are the political arm of Planned Parenthood in Texas. And we are working so hard for Colin Allred. In fact, you guys, we just started a super PAC for him, and we're raising literally hundreds of thousands of dollars to help him get across the finish line. And we're doing that because we understand what the tremendous and terrible human outfall of Texas abortion ban has meant. You know, when that decision, the Dobbs decision, overturned Roe v. Wade and the 50 years of protection that we'd had for women's bodily freedoms, when that decision came down, Ted Cruz said that it was a huge victory. And he's called these abortion bans across the country perfectly reasonable. Now let me tell you about these bans and what they've done. We don't have an exception for rape and incest in Texas. It doesn't matter if you are an 11-year-old girl. You do not have an option. And since Roe fell, we have seen more than 26,000 rape-related births in our state. And Ted Cruz believes that that is perfectly reasonable. In the state of Texas, we don't have an exception for fatal fetal anomaly. I had to face that decision in my life. It's the most difficult thing I've ever been through. And in spite of the grief that I went through and the tremendous pain that I still carry to this day from having had to make such a difficult decision, I was here. I was able to make that decision here and get the care that I needed here, and to go to sleep at night with my family in my home and cry into my own pillow. And that is not the case today. Kate Cox is someone I'm sure you've all heard about, who had to make this same tremendously difficult decision in her own life. And yet she had to get on an airplane and flee her state and go to a strange town with strange doctors and sleep in a strange hotel room while she dealt with the most difficult period of her life. And Ted Cruz thinks that's perfectly reasonable. And purportedly in Texas, we have an exception for life of the mother. But Ryan Hamilton is here with us today. And Ryan's wife, Jess, almost died because she could not get the miscarriage care that she needed, even though her fetus's heartbeat had stopped days before. She was refused care, not once, not twice, but 3 times, until he literally had to lift her lifeless body off of the bathroom floor and rush her to the hospital to get the care that finally saved her life. And Ted Cruz thinks that that's perfectly reasonable. Now, I know you agree with me that we need to do something about this. And Colin Allred is our answer. And we are going to show Ted Cruz in November that we are the deciders here, that we are the ones who are going to show up and stand up for women all across our state. Now, you guys, you've done something really difficult before. You elected me to the Texas Senate, and we flipped a red seat blue. It was a seat that had been held by a 6'3" cigar-chomping Republican for 16 years. And nobody thought we could do it, but we did it together. And I know that we can flip the state of Texas for Colin Allred, and we are going to do it together. Because you know what Kamala Harris says. When we fight, we win. Thank you all. Thank you.
I can feel the tension in the air. Wow, wasn't that amazing? Y'all, there are so many important things that are going to be on your ballot, and we need to make sure that we finish our ballot. We're going to start at the top with Kamala Harris. We're going to keep on going down to Colin Allred. We're going to elect some amazing state representatives and state senators. And we're going to finish the ballot with our local elections until it says end. Listen, y'all, I am so excited. There is something electric about this race. Yeah, he feels it. And I cannot wait until these next 30 days, but we got more work to do. And so that's why I stay fired up and ready to go. And I stay fired up and ready to vote. And I stay fired up because I'm ready to win. Yeah, and it looks like y'all are too. So I know y'all have all been coming here to see Colin Allred. And we have one more speaker before him. I have the privilege of introducing a great friend of mine, someone who is no stranger to all of y'all, who has stood up time and time again for us in D.C. He has been a fierce champion for Fort Worth and has delivered so many times for us right here in the great county of Tarrant County. So will you join me in welcoming the Congressman Mark VC.
Fort Party Worth, what's up? Fort Party Worth, y'all ready to elect a new U.S. Senator? All right, that's what I'm talking about. Look, I've had the opportunity to serve with Colin now for a few terms, and he is a great member of Congress. And I hate to lose him as a colleague in the House because he is absolutely incredible and he works hard for the 32nd District. And he beat a really bad Republican. But I will tell you, I'm even more excited when I think about what this man is going to do in the United States Senate. And he's going to do it with your help. And let me tell you about Colin. Colin is a family man. His 2 boys, his wife, he loves his family. He talks about his upbringing, about how his mom played such an amazing role in bringing him up. And that's what I like about Colin, is that he has his priorities in order. And also, having your priorities in order means putting the state first. And I got to tell you, as a family man myself, I believe that we should take family vacations. I do. I really do. But when our state is less than 2 minutes from the brink of the entire grid collapsing, that ain't the time you go to Cancun. That is not the time you go to Cancun. That's when you stay and you fight for the people of Texas. And in my opinion, it's about time that we have a U.S. Senator that believes that we should fight for Texas teachers. It's about time that we have a Texas senator that believes in women's reproductive rights. And it's about time that we have a U.S. senator that doesn't look out for fat cats and looks out for small business owners. Like the small business owners that have made Fort Worth and so many other cities across Texas an amazing place to live for each and every one of us. And that's why these next 30 days, we got to go out there and knock on doors. We got to make phone calls. We got to get everybody to vote that we can think of. I'm going to Colorado to make sure that my son, who's in college, sends his ballot in by mail. He can party all he wants to, but I said, boy, you're going to send that ballot in by mail. But it's remembering each and every person like that. And that's what it takes. And I got some more news for y'all too. Before we leave today, and before Colin finishes speaking, I'm gonna need for y'all to take y'all's phones out and give Colin some more money. 254 counties in the state of Texas. It ain't easy. It ain't easy. And he's gonna need all the resources that he can get so we can send Ted Cruz's ass a-steppin'. Time to hit the road, Ted. Spend as much time in Cancun as you want to, because you will not be the next U.S. Senator from the state of Texas. All right, ladies and gentlemen. All right, Fort Worth. I need for y'all to deliver big right now. I need for y'all to deliver big, because I'm about to introduce to you the next United States Senator from the great state of Texas. Former Baylor, great former NFL player, all around great guy, Colin Allred.
Hey, everybody. How y'all doing? Wow, thank y'all so much for coming. Listen, I want to thank all of my colleagues and everybody who spoke this afternoon. Jared Williams was great. Mark was great. Wendy was great. Chris Turner was great. Everybody was so great. I want to especially thank our former judge here, Judge Willie. You know, listen, it's hard after 30 years of committed service to then come forward and say that you're going to support somebody of a different party. That's hard to do. It's going to create maybe some personal friction for him. The same thing that some of my colleagues like Liz Cheney and others have gone through. You think that there's something more important, though, than your partisan identity. You think your state and your country is more important. And that's what this election is about. It's about restoring faith in who we are, making sure that we have a senator who cares about all 30 million of us, not one who just cares about himself. And when we beat Ted Cruz in 1 month, it's not going to be a win for me or for the Democratic Party. It's going to be a win for Texas, right? Y'all know, listen, I am so honored to be here because I'm not supposed to be here. You know, I'm just an ordinary Texan. I was raised by a single mom. My mom taught 27 years in Texas public schools. Give it up for the teachers. And you know, we don't pay our teachers enough. So my mom often had to work a second job to make ends meet. And I relied on my community, on good public schools that I went to. I support our Texas public schools. On my local YMCA, where I went so much, they started letting me come for free. It was a big deal for my family when I got a scholarship to play football at Baylor, because we couldn't have afforded that. Sick'em Bears. I know where I am. Not everybody can get it. It's okay. Not everybody can get into Baylor. It's okay. And you know, at Baylor, I got to be a captain of the football team, and I had a degree in history, and I was going to go to law school when I had a chance to play in the NFL. And I was an undrafted free agent, which means I had to make it the hard way. But I got to play 5 years. I made a career. And then I got injured, and I went to law school, and I chose to do voting rights. To focus on the right to vote. Because there was a line in a Supreme Court case that spoke to me that said the right to vote is preservative of other rights. All of our rights come from our democracy. We have made so much advancement. We didn't get it perfect at first, but we've been perfecting our union. And if you can't vote, you're defenseless. And what was happening here was trying to make it harder for certain folks to vote, and I thought that was so deeply un-American and un-Texan. It was a Texan and President Lyndon Baines Johnson who passed the Voting Rights Act in the first place. I had a chance to serve in the Obama administration. I've served in Congress in a way that I hope shows it's possible to bring folks together. I know who we are. I'm a fourth-generation Texan. My grandfather was a customs officer in Brownsville, Texas. He joined in 1939, fought in the Pacific in World War II, had 2 daughters down there. They went to UT and settled up here. They both became teachers. I know who we are. And we have to have somebody who will bring us together around our shared values. We have to have somebody who will remind us that we have more in common than what divides us. I'll tell you this. When I'm your United States Senator, I will never pit you against your neighbors. I will never lie to you. We won't always agree, but I'll come back and explain to you what I'm doing and why. And I'll always protect our democracy and protect our fundamental values. And one of those values, one of the most fundamental ones, is the ability to make your own decisions about your body. You know, Allie and I have had 2 boys in Dallas in the last 5 years. It's the whole process scares you to death because you don't know what they're going to say. I go to these appointments because I never met my father, so I go to every appointment. They put on the ultrasound and they say, "Oh, it's a boy." I can't see anything. What are you talking about? And all you want to hear is that everything looks good. That's all you want to hear. But if you do hear that there's a problem, all you want to hear next is, "And here's the plan to make sure you're going to be okay." But today, some Texas family heard that there's a problem. And the doctor said, "But there's nothing I can do to help you. Because Ted Cruz thinks he knows better than I do. And so you're either going to have to try and leave the state or go through some kind of horrific experience because your opinion and my opinion don't matter to Ted Cruz. Well, they matter to me. And when I'm in the Senate, we're going to restore Roe v. Wade. We're going to go back to the standard that we've had for the last 50 years. We're going to trust Texas women to make their own health care decisions. I trust Texas women. Are y'all ready for that? And you know, there is kind of something weird happening because it's not a normal election. You know, the last time we had a presidential election, we didn't have a peaceful transfer of power. For 250 years in this country, we've peacefully transferred power. A lot of countries have elections. I'm on the Foreign Affairs Committee. A lot of countries have elections. That's not the hard part. Venezuela just had an election. Putin has an election in Russia. The hard part is when the most powerful person in the country has to hand off power to someone else. That's the foundation of our democracy. And that's what Ted Cruz attacked on January 6th. Not only was he the objector to the results in Arizona, but he'd gone around the country lying about the election, knowing that he was lying. He whipped up a mob, and he summoned that mob to the United States Capitol. And when they got there, I remember I was sitting there, and I texted my wife who was pregnant. She was 7 months pregnant with our son, Cameron. I texted her, "Whatever happens, I love you," because they had locked all the doors. We borrowed the doors the president walks through to deliver the State of the Union with furniture that we used to hold paper. And you know, when you're the only former NFL linebacker in the room, and there's a mob at the door, everybody's like, "What you gonna do, Colin?" And so I took off my suit jacket, you know, because I'm like, hey, I'm with the DISD. I'm not just gonna sit here. And I thought I would have to hold this door. And you know what? Listen, I'm not proud of that. That's just what happened. That's just what happened. At the same time, after he'd gone around the country lying about the election, Ted Cruz was hiding in a supply closet. And that's okay. I don't want him to get hurt. The point is, there shouldn't have been a mob. And if you summon one, you have to lose your job. You understand me? If you attack our democracy, you have to lose your job. If when we need you most, you go to Cancun, you have to lose your job. If you want to cut taxes for the rich so you can cut Medicare and Social Security, you have to lose your job. And my goodness, if you have the awesome responsibility and privilege of representing 30 million Texans and you only care about yourself, get out of the way and let someone else do the job. Right? That's what this is about. So we got 1 month to stand up for the state that we know we are. Because y'all are going to sit down on November 5th, you're going to turn on your TV. I don't know which channel you'll be watching. I'm guessing some of you might have Steve Kornacki aboard. And just like he's gone to all these other states and shown them all their counties outlined, they're going to have a tough time because we got 254 in ours. He's going to say the results are coming in. And the question is, what's he going to say next? And based on what we do this next month, he's going to say the results are coming in, and it looks like Ted Cruz is going down, and Texas is going in a different direction. We're turning the page. And just like when he had that little rolly bag and he's coming back from Cancun, he's going through the rope lines. Imagine him take that same rolly bag and walking right out of the Capitol and say, "Adios, Ted. Bye-bye." Y'all ready for that? You fired up? You ready to go? Let's go beat Ted Cruz. Thank you.